Okay, I see the file. I hit the button to record, but I'm not sure if I should trust it. Because I did some recordings not that long ago. And I listened to one of them, it started up briefly, and it did cut in at the, like, right, we're recording? Because I'd like to go, alright, we're recording. And it, yeah. And the funny thing is, I seem to recall with that one, I waited a little bit. Like, I never, hit the button and immediately start talking. I never do that, but it still started so late. I don't know. I don't know why. OBS, you do weird stuff sometimes. Okay, so, Darksiders II Deathinitive Edition. Let's actually click into it. Hit start. Yeah, let's get that going. And there is news to talk about.
This is the tale thus far.
I need to turn the audio up.
In the Dead Kingdom, a tale of a merchant shrouded in mystery and smoke. A bell rang. A throne roared skyward. But death could not meet its lord.
Yet. Okay. I was not doing that adjustment, by the way. Where am I? Where am I going? Okay, I'm remembering how the map works correctly. I would have just come in here. Yeah, I think that is the case, so. Okay, but yes, new stuff to talk about. And remember, this is Friday, because it is... It's funny. I'm gonna try, because I have something to do later. I'm going to try live streaming again, though that it will be private initially. There we go. To see if maybe the internet connection is gonna hold out. Don't know. But one of the things I will briefly talk about is I reviewed the Political Machine 2020. That was where I made the recording, and for whatever reason, there was one with started the audio pickup partway through. Well, a little, like a second or so after I actually started the recording. At least based on file appearing and hitting the button in OBS. But there's another review I want to do. I can probably talk about it, I just don't feel like doing it right now. That's the one that I will try. That I will try doing a live stream for. And to explain, I'll do it like how I used to do the review playthrough, where it will be, damn it. Let's see how this goes. Sorry, I'm trying to focus on this. But yeah, how I used to do the review playthroughs until it was like, oh, I can't trust the internet. Not that you should trust the internet anyway, but it's like the internet as an entity you should not trust. I mean, could not trust the internet connection. But how I used to do it was, I wouldn't even have a local copy. There we go. I would just stream it to YouTube privately and then make it unprivate, make it public, or at least unlisted. Like, unlisted when the review is submitted, public after it goes live. And I'm gonna try doing that again, is my plan. That's my thinking. We'll have to see how that actually goes, because I mean, it's basically I want to see how if it works. I've had good luck when I watch, like when I upload this, which that's once a week. I always have something to upload. I've also been doing other stuff recently, so I have more to watch for. I'll just watch in Task Manager because it'll say what your connection is, and it'll stay solid where it is supposed to be. So it's like, okay, it seems like this is happy, so I'll give it a shot. but I likely will not go back to doing this live. Just, it is so much easier to do pre-recorded, especially when it's okay, I think I can expect like a 30 to 40 hour review coming up after this that I want to work on. I will say this, because yes, there is one game coming out that I do want to review. I may have to buy it, though. It's not Doom Eternal that I'm talking about. It's something else. It's actually a DLC review. I got a key for the DLC for a game I've already reviewed. I'm just going to go back, and I think I will replay the base game as part of this. I'm not just going to just do the DLC and then like try to review that, because I could, but I think it would be best, especially since the game came out a while ago, if I do it this way. Yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. But yeah, so I guess I'll talk about the Political Machine very briefly. I didn't care much for it. I did conclude with failure to recommend, because it had a few too many issues. A lot of it was just I didn't know how to play the game. It did not teach me how to play the game. And I want to be clear on that. It's did not teach me how to play the game. Not just I didn't know what I was doing. That was part of it, but some games take the time in-game, or they offer an actual separate tutorial kind of thing, so that you know what the heck's going on. That's not one of them. And it really hurt, because there are complex enough systems in there that you need to understand what's going on. I didn't want to do that. Why did you do it? Those should get me life as well. Okay, that worked. I'm going to be facing more of those now, though. Well, not necessarily right now, but that's the whole classic introduction to a mini-boss kind of thing. But yeah, and I mean, it would be worth looking at the review of the Political Machine, because some of it was just I didn't know fully what was going on. And it's actually funny, the way I did that review is I put in some time, and then I wrote the review and decided to go back and play some more. I decided that would be the best approach, because when you're not actively reviewing the game, and also when you finish writing a review, you have a certain sense of it. It's like I've already put down my specific criticism, so now I can play it again and see if anything changes. Like maybe I'm now gonna notice one thing a little differently because of how I examined something. And it did help. There actually was one thing that ended up being a little different. And when I went back, I noticed something. I don't think it was presented very well. So it still is kind of a problem, but it was enough of okay, if I just saw this, because it's not something you couldn't see. Or wouldn't see. It's just you might not notice it. I did rewrite part of the review that basically I was saying, hey, I got problems here with this system. I have these questions. Like, oh, well, those questions are answered now. I actually wanted to do a little bit of exploration here, hoping I will find like a more health pot. But then there was something else where it's like, okay, no, you could legitimately play the game and never notice this. That I actually found after, and I explained that whole thing in the review. But because of that being no, you could play the game and never notice this, that I put in as a separate paragraph and left where I originally wrote about the system it concerns, because like this is a problem that you could put in so much time and never see. But anyway, that finishes that off. You can look at the review. Hopefully it will be out before long. I only submitted it Thursday. So, yeah. And there will be a review playthrough and all that. And it was fun trying to navigate that without being political. The name is The Political Machine 2020, but I figure it's bad enough you're getting my review of the game, my opinion of the game in a review. Yes, a review by its nature is an opinion, but it's like I have low enough self-esteem that it's like it's bad enough you're listening to my opinion on this. But I really don't think anyone cares about my political views, so it's like I don't want to even touch on that if I can't help it. And I tried. I think I did a decent job at least. Gonna keep looking around for maybe health pots. It probably remembers some of what I broke though, so it won't give them back. So this is fun. But yeah, other things I got, there was the Intel vulnerability news that I wrote up earlier today, Friday, which is definitely interesting. It's very interesting. Likely not going to impact anyone, but it's interesting. So apparently it was already discovered. Alright, all modern CPUs definitely have, and this is Intel, AMD, ARM, all that, have in there a secure system, a secure second system of sorts, second CPU and such, that's for managing security, right? Oh yeah, I do. I remember this. This is gonna be annoying, and it doesn't help that I'm. And I don't remember what the button is to. Ow! I'm in trouble. I'm probably gonna die. That's it. That's F. I still hate it's a horrible lock-on camera, but okay. Uh-oh. Yeah. See, now it's gonna get harder. So yeah, all CPUs have that in there, and it manages your security. And in a way, it's a good idea because it's a separate system that's supposed to make it harder to attack. The thing is, a security research company called Positive Technologies, I think was the name of it, they discovered something kind of sad about what Intel's doing with it. And that was bullshit. I couldn't dodge there because of the camera. It's like, dodge that way. It's like, no, you're dodging in a straight line with him. It's like, I don't want to dodge in a straight line with him. I want to dodge away. That's why I'm hitting the left key, the A key to move. It's like, well, no, but your movement isn't based on you. It's based on the camera, which is a stupid camera. If it weren't a stupid camera, it wouldn't have been so much problem, but it's a stupid. Anyway, so. And this is actually not even the Intel CPU, it's the Intel chipset that has this problem, by the way. But what they found was that this system, this built-in mini system in the chipset that handles security, it doesn't boot with its encryption already in place. And this is known. This is actually in the Intel documentation that this is what it does, which is the funniest part to me. Is that they found this in the documentation. So the problem is that it will, there will be a very small time gap, and that is important. This is a small time gap where it will be possible for something to send a command that would allow its memory to be attacked. Boy, is that a problem. I mean, think about that. That this is the thing that is literally responsible for all security on your system, or at least a lot of it. And it can be attacked when it is booting up. But on top of that, and this is actually part of the reason why I wrote it up, because I used the register as a source, which that was the same source I used for the Spectrum Meltdown from, man, was that a year ago or 2 years ago now? I don't remember. That might have been 2018, it might not have been 19. But anyway, they used the analogy, and I quoted it there in my thing, that it's like trying to snipe a sliver of a target while it's moving by cracks in a wall. It's going to be very hard to actually attack it, and that is important. That, we're not talking about something that is going to be easily exploited. However, because of what the system is, and the fact that it is a read-only system, meaning it cannot be patched, it can only be solved with hardware, with changing the hardware, and Ice Point, which I don't even remember that code name, to be honest. I remember this Ice Lake, but I don't remember an Ice Point Intel codename. Only that right now would have protection. But it's basically because you can't fully fix it today. Point with that, but it's also Intel uses a system where there's a hardware key that is baked into the silicon, hence being called a hardware key. I hate this camera. It is such a lousy lock-on camera, and is basically guaranteed to kill you when you play. At some point in the game. I'm not saying it's always going to kill you. I'm just saying it's a piece of shit camera. Anyway. The hardware key is the same across a platform for Intel. So it's like, oh, it's a new generation of chipset. It all, if it's that same generation, it is all the same key. And the researchers, Register noted, said, yeah, we think it's just a matter of time before this hardware key is extracted, at which point then the larger chipset key that is in part derived from the hardware key would potentially be broken, and with that, you would have the information you need to basically decrypt anything on an Intel system of the same platform. Now, something important about this, though, is my interpretation of what was said, how it was written and such, is that this isn't a... it isn't like once they get that key that researchers described as being a matter of time, it isn't like once that key is had, that then everything just fails. It read more to me as once the key is had and they manage to break into a system using this one vulnerability, then chaos and havoc can ensue. So even this doomsday scenario is fairly unlikely to happen. And it also made the point that you would need local access, potentially even physical access to the system for this vulnerability to be taken advantage of. There we go. So that basically rounds out that piece of news. So I want to shut up and focus on this, which I'm sure I'm still gonna die. It's just I hate this camera. I cannot trust it. But I have to use it for an idiot like this. I'm dead. I'm dead. Oh shit, how did I not die there? I should have died. The camera was like guaranteeing my death. It's worth using the bracers for this because of the when they have the on crit, you gain health. Where did it go? There it is. And of course, you cannot track this. Yeah, there's also a lot of AMD news to talk about. I feel like there was one other thing that wasn't. I just can't remember what it is. Ow. Get me away, get me away, get me away. I hate this camera. Because you cannot trust your own orientation with it. That's why it is such a piece of shit camera. That it's like, I wanted to go away from him after doing that. But I couldn't.
Not enough.
Well, that's fine. That's actually what I wanted, but I didn't want to do it via that menu. In case you're wondering, yes, there is supposed to be a way to, like, quick call that, but it is just such a pain in the ass. Despite this being the Deathinitive Edition, I guess a way to put it would be, this is still very much a console game on PC. They did not really fix things with either the original version or this. I mean, just, yeah. But this is definitely a bullshit kind of fight right now, I think. But let me also... Oh yeah, that. I did get a thing. Relicta? R-E-L-I-C-T-A was a game I saw announced. It's coming sometime this year. A physics puzzle game, and it's coming to PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Stadia. Unfortunately, not enough there to be able to do like a full-length news item. But it definitely looks interesting. Like, I'm personally interested in it, so I wanted to mention that. I don't remember if that's a Devolver game or not. It might be, though. After this, I'll probably stop and... Not necessarily after Nash, or after dealing with this asshole. But later, I may look at it, you know, go through the emails I got, the press releases I got. Like, yeah, I know one thing, and this, sadly, is definitely yeah, I can't do a full news item on that, and another thing where it's like, well, no, I wouldn't write that one up. Anyway, I don't think it's interesting enough. I got 3 press releases from EK this week. One, I think Maybe I saw that separately. A monoblock for the Asus Zenith Extreme 2, which is the Threadripper 3000 series motherboard. I have the, Threadripper 1 and 2000 series Zenith Extreme. Nice motherboard, I like it. It's more, the actual CPU though that I love. But also they have new fans that are they're thicker, 38mm thick. So, and they can also, because of that, they have a motor that lets them go a bit faster. I want to dodge, but it's like, oh no, he's got a leg in the way, and you can't orient yourself to avoid that. I think I could whip it. Oh, I have to. I just realized that he was actually regaining health. I have to rip his head out. I did not notice that. Okay, now I have to run. But yeah, it's like, new fans, it's like, well, it's a single thing. It's not like, I mean, true, I probably wouldn't have been able to hit the length anyway, but it wouldn't quite be like when Corsair announced the magnetic levitation fans. That a bit more significant, I would say, since that's a, like, oh, we're using a completely new bearing technology here. That's much more interesting than just, basically put together. Now, true, I should admit, I didn't read the full release, but just, it seemed to be a, hey, we are making thicker fans that can be faster because, bigger motor in there. Sorry, I just had to finish. But then the third one was, they basically have a new, it's an accessory, let's face it, that's what it is. The 3 Allen wrenches you would need for at least their stuff. It might be all larger stuff. I could believe that Allen wrench use is kind of generalized for water cooling. It's like, yeah, this is kind of an accessory. I don't think that warrants a news item, especially when it's like we want them to be longer, like approaching 2 pages in length. It would comes to roughly. There might be somebody out there that can do 2 pages on Allen wrenches without heavy marketing fluff. I'm not one of them, and I'm okay with that. Son of a bitch. Well, okay, no, this is just a larger cinematic. I have killed him. Alright. Got that stuff. That. Alright, let's... Well, actually, first I'm gonna save. I'm not stopping, I just want to save. Let's look at these. Not as much damage. Yeah, they're definitely inferior, but critical chance and critical damage makes them very nice. But it's just this... It's more base. What I have now is more base damage to begin with, but also with the fire damage on top, the strength bonus, and that critical. Oh yeah, it's only 22% versus. 20% critical chance is very nice. Do not doubt that, but it's the possessed stuff gets very powerful. All right. Guess I head out. Okay, so the AMD stuff, since now I can definitely talk about that. They had their financial analyst day Thursday evening for me. They did on the West Coast, it would have been more like early mid-afternoon. And a lot of things announced. A lot of it not necessarily consumer targeting, but is still important. Like information on Zen 3 is expected this year, late. Well, I actually don't remember if it did say late. No, it did. It did say the first Zen 3 products late 2020. So we can expect Ryzen 4000 basically this year, but it will be late this year. Late could be even just second half, though. It doesn't necessarily have to be Q4. It might be, though. Also, unfortunately, it will be... I don't remember what... Well, no, I need to go up. I know I need to go up. I'm not going to go down just now. It is also going to be late 2020 that we see RDNA 2 products. So that's the... And they confirmed, we already knew this, although they did add a little bit more detail. The hardware accelerated ray tracing and also the variable rate shading. Now what's interesting with the ray tracing that they added, like we didn't know that before, is that they haven't worked with Microsoft. That should surprise no one. But that it will have support for DXR 1.1. Yeah, I do remember. I did write that up. That was a while ago, though. Hang on, I need to get a drink of water. Ah, that's much better. But that's right, DXR 1.1 actually really did add in a lot of capability. Including the possibility, the potential for DXR to be used for other uses. Yeah, that reminds me of one thing that I find hilarious. People making a big deal about, I don't remember where it was said, but somewhere was said for the Xbox Series X, they will be using ray traced audio. It's like, okay, this has existed for years. Like, AMD did a radar raise thing with that, and it is part of the Steam Audio API. Or Steamworks Audio API, whatever the name of that is. That has been around for a while. It's not, I mean, okay, coming to console, that might be a big deal, but people are like, oh my god, it's so awesome, ray traced audio. It's like, this is old. This is not new. Calm down.
I want you to have.
That should be.
But
Oh, I maxed. I didn't even realize. But that kind of thing. But even though it's existed for a while, that kind of thing, DXR would allow. DXR 1.1 would allow for.
I was so hoping you would not return.
Yeah, I figured that out already. Sorry.
What of the arena's champion, then? He won't be entertaining you any longer. No, impossible. I believe your king will see me now. I cannot deny you.
But there's other stuff to talk about with AMD, so just need this to go through.
You stink of the living, horseman, of souls long overdue.
That would be the Neverland in his chest, by the way.
Pity.
Aware of, I'm
Starting
guessing.
to enjoy the atmosphere.
Then you have not been here long. Billions of souls crowd my kingdom. All of humanity wailing for vengeance. But I see you are already familiar with such music. What would you have of me, horseman?
Show me the way to the Well of Souls.
And what do you seek there? Power over life and death? Or do you hope for absolution, Kinslayer? I wondered where the souls of your brethren had gone, for they never passed through my realm.
Your realm hardly needs more subjects.
True. Yet I must face this rabble without the lords who serve me.
That's not my concern.
Make it your concern, and I will grant your request. Find my 3 dead lords, and wake them from their slumber. This will bend them to your will. Return the lords to me, that they might share my burden.
Okay. And we could see that earlier, so yeah, no surprise there. That is something I don't fully remember. What? Okay, so I mentioned, yeah, RDNA 2. Unfortunately, those parts aren't going to be coming till later. They also did a little bit of renaming, where it's now Navi 1X is what we currently have. Navi 2X would be RDNA 2, and they did also have slides for that included Navi 3X on the roadmap. But one thing really, really cool, like I've been talking in some things about how at CES it was said that they learned some efficiency optimizations that they could do when working on the APUs that would apply to other GPUs, including the discretes, so we could see RDNA 2 be much more efficient than you may realize. Well, they have said that their target, their plan, is for RDNA 2 to be 50% more efficient than RDNA 1, which was already 50% more efficient than GCN, so it's a definite step up in efficiency. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, at least one place I've seen point out that the fact they're saying they're planning for that could, kind of implies that it may be a while. But I feel like it's also worth noting, though, that generally you would never say something, especially in a financial environment. You would never say that we're planning on this unless you were very confident you'd be able to achieve it. And it's possible that they already have the silicon that is achieving that. Where it's a, no, we know we can do this, it's now just getting the final product ready. That I could believe is possible. It could be the case. It might not be. That's totally me guessing. I'm just saying that to my mind, is not an unreasonable. Well, that didn't work. Put that back. Oh, okay. I was expecting it to open up the door, not just unlock it. They also did something else that they announced a number of things. Like, one thing that I did put in there, because it was talked about on the financial day, it was announced the day before, though, is that AMD will be powering the El Capitan supercomputer that is being built at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. And it will be, they stated, breaking the 2 exaflop barrier, which, as was pointed out elsewhere, that is more powerful than the top 200 supercomputers combined today. That's a lot of horsepower. That'll play Crisis real nice. And it did say that it would be using Zen 4, so that's two CPU generations away. Which, that's supercomputers you don't say, oh yeah, we're doing this, and then like off the shelf parts, you have it up soon. No, it's that timeline makes sense. It'll be a couple years to build this thing. But what we've also learned is that it will use a new version. So AMD's continuing the development of Infinity Fabric to the point that they're also rebranding into Infinity Architecture, and they already have 2 generations of that figured out. Second generation is, some are speculating that's the Frontier supercomputer, which that was announced a while ago. I don't remember where that's going. That is likely second generation, but El Capitan will be 3rd generation. And the thing that it does that is definitely this is interesting, is not just, hey, we got a better connection, and I think one of those slides even showed that, yeah, like a better connection than PCIe allows for, which I don't know if that means that they're going to go to a different hardware connection or just a different protocol, because PCIe is both the hardware and the protocol for connecting. Yeah. But with the 3rd gen, it not only has better bandwidth connection there, but also is designed for greater memory coherence, which, to give you an idea of what that means, a single node in El Capitan would have 1 Zen 4 EPYC CPU connected to 4 CDNA 2 GPUs, Beta and Instinct GPUs. I'll talk about CDNA and its importance in a little bit. Even to consumers, it is still important. To 4 of those, and by leveraging this 3rd gen Infinity architecture, they will have basically direct access to system memory. It would allow all the memory for the system memory, and probably also the VRAM, to be unified. CPU and GPU having equal access and fast access to it. That's a big deal. It's like, I remember Level 1 Techs made the point more than once that with Vega, some like Adobe Premiere video editing stuff would actually be better than on NVIDIA. Even though NVIDIA would potentially run faster, it's because Vega had the HBCC that allowed you to effectively increase the VRAM available significantly by adding in system RAM. And yeah, it may be slower than NVIDIA, but you wouldn't run into the any crashes because of running out of the local storage on the GPU. And that it doesn't matter if you're faster and it fails. You know, it's better to have slower and improved stability, guaranteed stability. Now, for many applications, no one's going to care about that. Supercomputers, though, you care about that. Oh yeah, that is genuinely going to be a significant advantage for that supercomputer and others. All right, so I mentioned CDNA2, which, what is this? Compute DNA is what it stands for, which is clearly a reference to the RDNA name. Why is this important? Because it's compute focused. Generally, we don't need compute as consumers, we just need graphics performance. Well, that's why it's important. For quite a while now, AMD has had to rely on a jack of all trades kind of architecture. GCN is a jack of all trades architecture. It is... Oh yeah, that's right, I can do this. It can do gaming, but it can also... I forget exactly where it is I'm trying to go. It can do gaming, but it can also do compute. And the reason why AMD had to do that is because previously they couldn't really develop multiple architectures. You know, have both a gaming and a graphics architecture. That wasn't possible for them. Well, they got the money, and they're doing that. RDNA is the gaming optimized. What am I? Oh. What am I supposed to do here? That's not. I honestly don't even remember what that is. I think that's gonna. I'm claiming the stars. I need another possessed item that I can upgrade. Okay. Alright, okay, this. I mean, you're telling me here, but I've already been here. That? No. This?
Dust? What do you see?
Okay, so you're saying I actually do need to come back here. So hopefully that means I go here. So anyway, yeah, going back to the RDNA, CDNA thing. By finally having a dedicated compute architecture and dedicated gaming architecture, AMD is able to do what NVIDIA's been doing for a while. They've been having different architectures for their compute and gaming for a bit. Like, there are some Turing compute GPUs, but for the most part, Volta was completely for compute. It was not for gaming. You did have the Titan V, but I mean, that $3,000. That's not for. And so yeah, that's definitely good because that means they will not have to develop, and oh yeah, I remember. They will not have to. Okay. Oh, that's right. I don't actually have a way over there because of that being. They don't have to use such a design, such a jack of all trades design. So the consumer gaming GPUs can continue to be focused on gaming, making it more powerful, more efficient for the task. And it's also, we've already seen actually NVIDIA do something like this. Haha! Yay! I got another possessed. Yay! Okay. Oh, here. I'm gonna get closer to where it is I need to be. Then start messing with that. But anyway, so the Fermi and Kepler architectures. So that's GTX 400, GTX 500, GTX 600, GTX 700, but especially true for Fermi, the 4 and 500. Was very good for compute. It was. Kepler backed off of that some, not a whole lot, but some. Maxwell, however, was very much a gaming optimized architecture. And then Pascal, which is very derived from Maxwell, and Turing, which is very derived from Pascal, have all been gaming focused. But I mean, if you remember when Maxwell came out with the GM200 series specifically, so that's the 900, GTX 900 GPUs. Original Maxwell was the actually wasn't even GTX, but the 750 Ti was the first generation Maxwell. It was good for efficiency, as I recall, but wasn't a high performer. But the GTX 980 and 970 were very powerful, very good cards. I just feel like blowing over here. But they really changed things, as did Pascal, thanks to the node shift. Allowing even greater efficiency. So AMD finally, true, when Navi in the 5000 series with the first generation RDNA, they started that move, but basically this is confirmation. This is the second step in the move for having separate architectures, separate gaming and compute architectures, and that's a good thing, because you're not going to see compute being wedged into the gaming stuff anymore. It won't be necessary, because it won't be necessary to do that, because those parts won't be needed in the gaming GPUs. They obviously can't abandon all compute. You do need compute for gaming, and some compute is becoming more and more used in gaming, but it's still some things like floating point 64 capability would probably not really be worried about. And maybe some of the much lower integer compute capabilities, like a 4-bit, is apparently a thing. I think 8-bit is... I think NVIDIA is actually using integer 8-bit for stuff. I just don't remember what exactly. So you might see that continue. Oh, there was also one other thing that AMD revealed. So in light of the issue with the drivers that now looks to have been fixed, AMD's making some changes to how they're going to be developing the drivers and continuing to test it, including monitoring the community more, so that when issues pop up, they can react to them more quickly. Okay. I was just wondering if it would actually say anything like... I'm just looking around here. Yeah, so that's a optional thing. Okay, so that's where I came out of. Or this... No. This is with Phono. So I came out, and it was like going through here. That's where I was getting kind of lost. And my mind just partially switched off. Sorry about that. It's not really coming back. I know I was talking about the whole... the RDNA, CDNA stuff. But CDNA, it's also interesting because that does mean that they're not just going to use Vega, although the Arcturus GPUs might still be Vega-based. I don't know. We may find out someday. But I just don't know. I haven't seen anything specific. And the assumption, at least, has been Arcturus is Vega-based. Alright. Because then I can get to here. But yeah, so it will definitely come be interesting. Yeah, I was talking about how Maxwell is gaming-focused architecture, which is part of the reason why I see it perform so well. Be so significant in architecture. Yeah, it will be interesting. Oh, one other thing that I had seen. Oh, that's right. That's what I was getting to with the whole the driver stuff. AMD also said that they're going to start applying AI to help with the testing, as well as adding more games to the testing as well. But the AI testing, I think how I saw it described or explained somewhere, is basically there's a whole bunch of configurations out there. It's part of the nature and beauty of PC gaming. But that also makes it very hard to test and track down bugs to figure out exactly why things are happening. The AI is meant to help with doing that testing, possibly. I'm not fully sure how you would manage that, aside from just having it more accurately in an automated way interact with a system like how a human would, but almost definitely monitoring log reports, going through and figuring out what is the commonality here. So yeah, that is interesting. Hopefully gonna prove good, and very good in the long run, very successful. All right. So my plan is I get down there, I save. Well, no, I don't save yet, but I upgrade the new possessed scythe. And I could sacrifice these scythes to it. I probably will, actually, but that would be one of the last things. I should be... Well, yeah, especially since it's paused, but I can just stay here and do this. Alright. Great. Yes. Huh? Yes, I want the shock damage on. Alright. Ooh, health per kill and health per crit. That's good, so let's... Perfect. I think I'll actually go with health on crit, because that's what the gauntlets have, and that works because you can actually crit a fair amount. It's like, it's more like there's a chance that before I kill something I will crit it twice, which will get me the same amount as when I kill it, but it's also while I'm fighting. So like in a boss fight, health on crit will be more useful. Oh, that's neat. I could do that. Where... yeah, upping critical chance would actually be good to do as well. Oh yeah. There we go. Alright, so now I want to try to get defense on there. I'll see if I can end with this. To like also get health on crit on that. Alright. So last one. So I could do that and basically almost be there. Oh. Well, I already have that. That's right, it's health on kill that I didn't pick. Alright, Here, if I do this one last, I can get maybe also improve the critical damage, which would be good. It would be nice to have. So, look at this one though, with the strength. I'm not going to use the weapon. I don't like him. No. I already have defense on there. Oh, I already... Yeah. Alright. Well, improved critical chance is good. Alright, so that is far and away better than this, even though critical chance is a little bit below. I didn't get critical damage on there, but I also got the shock damage, the health on... I mean, these are much nicer. Much, much nicer. Including being a lot more powerful than what I was just using. And I think... I don't remember if there is a chance for stunning with shock. It's possible that that is the case. I just don't remember. Oh yeah, he was... So he got a dot on him.
I cannot.
Which we've also been seeing enemies start on fire. He got a dot on him that also with the shock was stunning him, keeping him on the ground. I was gonna stop, but it's like, well, these are just, simple mob rooms. I might as well actually get into the level. But also, you've noticed, right there, the health. So I am crit against them and getting the health. So it was a good decision. To go with the health on crit. Alright, and it must be also with these guys that, I have a feeling that this... Oh no, it did. That's with these guys that I get the whole... Can make a copy of death that then, does its thing. Well, that then can sit there and stuff. Which I also... just remembered one other thing about the AMD drivers. They have been reissued, sort of, kind of. It's not exactly a reissue, but it's because it now has WHQL certification. So that's the Microsoft certification about these being drivers that are so stable or whatever, which is good. Yes, okay. That's why I thought that it is possible to grab that. Hold around. Oh, that's... Is... That... Okay, I got it. So I'll solve this puzzle, save, and then stop. Especially since I do need to get to that other thing. That DLC review I mentioned that I have to do. Nope, missed. There we go. But that is starting to introduce you to the whole having the switches, the weighted switches stuff, and how that will be important. Sure. That figures. Alright. Save. And And I will, once I get out of this, also quickly run through, even though I've probably been going for just over an hour now. Some of the press releases I got that I haven't gone through. But yeah, so I mentioned the EK thing, the multi-Allen key, which, I mean, I get the idea to it, but it's also I don't think enough people are really going to care enough to make it worth trying to write a long piece on. The Meltemi is the name of the new fans from them. They are 120mm fans, but they are thicker. Yes, 38mm thick frame with a high speed of up to 3,500 RPM. So that will definitely move air. Motor by Numbers came out. Okay, I could request, but I've got enough other things I need to do. And also, I'm not much for that kind of game. It looked like its style is akin to visual novel, and that doesn't really interest me. So I wouldn't want to ask for a key because it's like I'm not interested in it personally, so I'm not so interested in doing the review. The Relicta game that's it's Deep Silver. Sorry, not Devolver. I was right on the D sound at least. And did announce unique physics-based puzzle game taking players to a far-off moon base. It's coming to PC Stadia, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4, as I mentioned. Oh yeah, there's also that. The Roller Champions from Ubisoft closed alpha starting on March 11th. What else have I got here? The Magnitude Water Block from EK. I didn't really look at it too closely before. That's also from almost a week ago now. Well, yeah. It mentions they have a different mounting system for it. But yeah, that's I had the usual. I normally every week get 2 emails from Rockstar, one for GTA Online, one for Red Dead Online. But I definitely couldn't write up an 800 word or so, 2-page long thing covering both those. And if it weren't once a week, I get them. Maybe if it were once a month with everything, I could do that. Like with the Hitman 2 stuff, once a month, give me the whole calendar, I can do that. Though I haven't gotten one yet for March. Haven't seen that yet. Oh yeah, there's the Division 2 Warlord stuff, which I will admit I've not looked closely at. I've just been busy with other stuff. Even though I did enjoy the Division 2, I really did. So hopefully that expansion is also is going to be good. And that's coming out March 10th, so that's Tuesday. Hopefully that is good. I would like it to be good because I did enjoy the game, and I would like more people to enjoy it. Yeah, so I should just stop now so I can get to things. I actually wanted it to be kind of a shorter video. I failed at that. Oh well. I think it was a decent video though. So let me also quickly look at something. Because I am curious. I'm also just a curious person, but like an unusual person. Okay. I just wanted to see, because last week I mentioned an article I had submitted. It still going through editing. And there's also now that Political Machine 2020 review that is going through editing. So hopefully those will be out before long. And then this DLC review that I don't want to talk about just because of how long it's going to take me to do. Hopefully that will be before long. I'm also waiting on a part of it to come out. So it's like there's a DLC coming out soon. And I'm doing like the stuff leading up to that as well. Sort of like with the Metro Exodus, where 2 kernels had been out for a while. So I reviewed that and then I just waited until I got the Sam Story key. Similar kind of idea there, except what I got was a key for the entire pass. So I have the previous DLC, and I'm gonna like do the base game with those, Hopefully starting today, maybe tomorrow, depends. I've been feeling tired today, so I might hold off. And then once the final part of that expansion pass, the season pass kind of thing comes out, then do that. So it's probably going to work out kind of like that, with maybe a break between. We'll see. I don't actually know what the release date is for the final thing, and even if I did know, I couldn't say. But I don't know. But I couldn't say. It would be NDA. That would be the situation there for anyone curious. Okay. That covers it. I'm going to stop talking now. I'm sure you already want me to stop talking. I am sorry for continuing. See you next week.